Welcome to Deep Thought. Look within for your power. You know what? There's a lot going on out here, and whew, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna share it because, like I always say, I'm not a guru. I'm going through this just like everybody else. Y'all climbing that mountain with me. Y'all walking with me. I might be ahead, but y'all within at least shouting distance. Some of y'all within whispering distance. You know, shoot, I could probably have some folks on here. I'm falling behind them. They just say, "Oh, okay, Rom doing good. I'll just be quiet and keep walking." But you know what? Something hit me. Like, you remember there was last week. Last week there was that situation with T-Mobile where their system went down. You couldn't make any calls, anything like that. And I'm gonna be real with you. I felt that's one of the few times I felt a sense of powerlessness. Now, logically, rationally, I knew, okay, they'll fix this and everything. But I was just like, wait a minute, I can't make calls, anything like that. And it was outside of my control. But then I learned a valuable lesson. You can't control stuff outside of you. Your power isn't outside of you. This is something beyond my control. All I could do is chill out. Now, my response, now, like I told you, I'm still going through all of this too. I'm not, look, I don't walk on water. I don't levitate, you know. Shoot, I'm not on top of the mountain. And to be honest with you, I mean, the feeling lasted maybe a half an hour. Actually, a long time for me. But then, what did I do? I stopped. I breathed. I said, okay, I can't control this thing. This thing is bigger than me. But I can control my reaction to it. So I just started breathing. I was like, oh, okay. All right. And then I saw what was wrong. Once I started breathing, I saw what was happening. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, if they want to keep making money, they'll fix it. And then, went on about it. But what was the power here? The power wasn't fixing the thing. I mean, I'm not in a position to fix someone on that scale or to do anything. Maybe if I was CEO of that company, yeah. But what I did have the power to do was control my reaction to it, to stay calm. And that's power in itself. That's power within itself. Now, I didn't call anybody and say, oh, what do I do? What do I do? No, I sat there and thought about it. And so I just breathed and I controlled my reaction to it. Slept very well that night. I was like, actually, there was a point I said, oh, well, people won't be hitting me up with any crazy texts or calling me. So I was like, but that's just one instance. Because I'm going to tell you what's happening out here. A lot of people feeling powerless. That's a big thing. That's actually a big part of the protest and everything. It's big. I mean, George Floyd himself, people call him a martyr, but he was more like a match. He was like the final straw. It was like when you loading stuff onto something, it was the final brick. There's that final thing that just drives everything. And what it did, it tapped into so many people because under this situation with the lockdown, the virus, if Rom had that one moment, that 30 minutes where I was like, feeling powerless. Imagine some people who were working on a decent job and all of a sudden they get furloughed. Or, they can't go to places they do. Their relationships might have been shattered. They can't do the things. You feel powerless. And that's always been a thing with people. It's just been under control, right? But that's always a thing with people. You don't feel that power. You don't feel that influence. And then you might look outside yourself to get it. But that power is already within you. Being that power is the power of choice. That's the main thing. Because regardless of which deity that you worship or, you're an adherent to, which spiritual path or philosophical path in which you're an adherent, it's still a choice. And I'll just say this in general. I mean, because most people will use the term God. Even God doesn't take away your choice. That means you had the power of choice. That's within you. Somebody don't give you a choice. Yeah, some people can try to put you in a position where they force you. They can put a gun to your head. But even then, you still have the power of choice. You have the power how you going to respond to it. Like you could say, like you make a choice to say, okay, I'm going to submit to this power or this force outside of me. That's a choice. That's your power. But you can also say, like, shoot me, man. You know? And that's, hey, I've actually seen that happen. I've heard of that happen, rather. I was told about this one dude. Somebody came up to him, put a gun to him, and he was like, shoot me, and hit him in the face. But that was his power. It's in you. Everything is in you. Now, we got forces out there, they trying to influence your behavior. I've talked about that several times. Influence you, get you to go this way, and they'll hit you. And it's not even just the big folks. It could be the small folks. It can be the small folks. Like I said, like on my channels, people, I don't have it as much because I'm quick to block and delete. But I've had people try to tell me how I should do something. And I just like, oh, block. You don't tell me how to do anything. And because that's my choice. Now you can make a suggestion if you cool with me, or you could point out something. And then I'll be like, oh, that's actually the way to, you just point out, hey, have you ever thought about doing it this? I'm like, oh, okay. But if you say, you should do it this way, I'm like, get out of my face. That's because I don't let anything outside of me tell me anything, because I still know I have the choice. And even if that case, I sat there and listened to it, I still got a choice whether I'm going to follow it or not. But that's the power. Your power extends in life because your power is how you navigate the world. It's how, like, say, if you were the analogy of a fish in a lake. That fish, it's in a lake, but that fish has a choice of how it wants to navigate it, how it wants to respond to something. That's within you. That's within you. You look in the mirror, And even, I'm known for talking about relationships, of course. But, there have been times, I faced some rejection like everybody else. Not as much as many people, but still faced it, right? But I didn't allow that rejection to influence myself in a negative way because I had the power. I had the power of how I was going to respond to it. I had the choice, And so, I mean, and, I'm talking about it on those terms, how you responded to something, but you also have the choice of how you want to live your life. Because, it's not easy at first. You might want to live in a mansion and, have a late model car and have like either a very handsome maid if you're a female or a very beautiful maid if you are a male. And people will say, well, Rom, how you got the power for that? You got the power to make a choice to at least move in that direction. You got the power to figure out what you want to do that will make you enough money to get you there. You have the power to decide what type of opposite sex mates you want to deal with. That's within you. Because once you know you have that power, what happens? It would seem to the uninitiated as magic, but no. All you doing is telling your spirit, if you want to use the term, your subconscious, if you're more, you're more in a scientific thing. Hey, this is what I want to do. And you will start going in that direction. And then if you have a vision of it, eventually you will get this provided you stay on it, but that's still within your power. Understand that. Stick with that. It's a very key thing. It's a very key thing. So, yeah. So anyway, right? I want y'all to keep looking within for that power, and keep looking. I don't care what's going on out here. Look within for your power. Think on what I'm saying. Peace and many blessings.